Sonic Frontiers is a really good game, but no one cares about that, because today we're here to break the absolute mess out of it. In each of the Starfall Islands, far away we can see other islands in the distance, and below the island is a huge death plane that stretches so far that it actually stretches past the actual ocean itself. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Our goal in today's video is to break Sonic Frontiers by seeing how far out we can go in any direction. And later in the video, we go so far that it actually crashes Sonic Frontiers itself. So I guess you'll have to watch to the end of the video.
Oh, hell no, man.
This is honestly pretty obvious. With the power boost, you can jump or rail launch right out into the water, but pretty obviously you won't get very far. Jumping out will eventually have you fall and die. This is pretty basic stuff, but there actually is something more interesting that meets the eye. Not anything groundbreaking, but still relevant a bit. See, the way you die in Sonic Frontiers is that after you die, Sonic actually starts up his falling animation after you die while having an objective. Dawn positions continues to descend just for a little bit more before he respawns. So yeah, pretty underwhelming stuff, meaning if you stomp, you actually go a bit further before you come back, but it's not really anything groundbreaking. So it's now time for us to leave the base game and turn to mods. Using the Supersonic 2 mod unlocks Supersonic for us. This is a really fun mod to play with, but something major it helps us to do is bypass the death plane under the islands. This may seem like this is infinitely better as this lasts forever, but actually after you lose all your rings, Sonic instantly dies. So we jump as far down as possible without touching the death plane, then activate Supersonic and then hold down the stomp button to go down. We'll go into details of what happens visually, but this allows you to go 63,490 meters down. Pretty far just for the weakest methods to go downwards, but of course, for anybody who has played Sonic Frontiers, there's a way to go even further down. If you've played Sonic Frontiers before, you do know that you can upgrade your ring stats to level 99, which goes from 400 to 999. This essentially gives us about 6 extra minutes of us falling downwards, and while it might not seem much, that gives us a lot more time to go even further down. This puts us from the original 63,490 to 155,780, but surprisingly, we can still go even further down. When you plant Supersonic down on the ground, he normally gets stuck on the ground until you find a random piece of terrain to put him back into the sky. Now how this helps is that for whatever reason, Supersonic can get hit. He doesn't lose rings, but you do lose control until you land and you fall down. Something you may not have had the distance to realize that is in Sonic Frontiers, your acceleration for getting hit is extremely fast. So we get Supersonic close to a ledge while firmly planted on the ground, and we have an enemy hit you. Combined with the maximum number of rings, which is 999, our time goes from 155,780 meters to an outstanding 23,413,092 meters. Here's where I explain what happens visually. So you may know the glitch in Sonic Frontiers called Reach for the Stars. This glitch had you fly out of bounds using the bumpers on the way to the 4th Chaos Emerald in Kronos Island. As you go further and further, Sonic's body starts to pixelate more and more. This also happens going down, so the further down we go, the less recognizable Supersonic will get. But there are some special stuff that only happens when going down. Not even 1,000 meters down, the whole sky turns black and the outline of the island itself becomes white. Going down more than around 20,000 meters makes Supersonic turning completely white or blending in with the background. At 30,000, white or blue background will start creeping up, pushing out the black. At 80,000 meters, the black void is gone, the island you were initially on is a far cry from being visible, and Sonic tends to become invisible. At around 115,430 meters, Sonic suddenly appears as a black silhouette. It's at this point where you can clearly start to see Sonic becoming more and more pixelated. Things stay dormant around 330,000, where the color of the sky starts to replace pure white. And Sonic's not looking too good. We can really see Sonic's proportions being messed up, and meanwhile in the background, a sunlight figure has appeared. If you look at it from the side, it is a circle and the colored background is there, but when you focus Sonic straight on it, the whole screen becomes white. Save for the glitchy Sonic. 600,000 meters down and the sky started turning red, then gradually easing to bleach black. At 830,000 meters, the lights suddenly turn back on as you can see a dark blue sky, while Supersonic himself is getting more and more pixelated. Nothing happens for a long time except Supersonic getting even worse and worse. By 2 million, he looks like a turtle with a beard or something. It's truly horrifying. By 3 million meters down, Sonic is unrecognizable, and finally, at 3,156,506, the lights go out again. At 3.2 million meters down, the lights suddenly turn on. It's crazy to mention that even though Supersonic himself is completely unrecognizable, his golden aura is completely intact, at least for now. At around 3.4 million meters down, the background becomes a pure white until 3.59 million, where it starts to turn back to colored. Different color changes continue happening periodically, and Supersonic still gets even more and more pixelated. At around 5.4 million meters down, Sonic's very being starts to flicker. You can see what's left of him by moving the camera, but Sonic's model is starting to disappear. At around 12.565 million meters down, Sonic's pixelated so much that he consists of 3 big squares that are still pitch black, and the golden aura is starting to stick with the bottom square. At 20 million meters, Sonic's already ruined body starts to stretch and tear, making it look like a faint barcode. And by 27 million meters, Sonic Aura only has one spot and it glows on the bottom. Sadly, nothing else happens until Sonic dies from not having any rings. I'd say the mission was a success, but it wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be. A good Sonic tuber made Sonic Hub had a theory that Uranus Island was underwater, and it turns out it's either like way further down than 23 million miles, maybe like 100 million or something, or it's just not there, and I don't think it is there. Personally, I think it's sadly the latter. But wait, we have one more trick up our sleeves. One trick that may teach us some more things about Sonic Frontiers itself. The Overpowered Frontiers is broken, like it's a mod that fundamentally doesn't work, but the fact that it doesn't work helps us in this case. Combining this mod and the Supersonic mod is what makes this final experiment work. You see, as Sonic, you can't move properly due to it being buggy, but transforming into Supersonic helps us move up very slowly. The easy final step is to just boost and dodge roll, then we let hell break loose. I'm just gonna let you guys watch this is absolutely insane. Minus 2,147,483,648 is the last thing we see before the game crashes. Excuse me? Minus 2 billion? How do you even reach negative numbers? Well, here's what I hypothesize. Using this broken mechanic, we can actually learn a lot more about Frontiers than you think. While Supersonic was acquiring his high speed, you can see the marker going left and right, despite Supersonic not turning in that direction. After looking at 56439 something, since we don't have the marker to look at it, we don't know the exact value, we see 876. Keep in mind that the marker can only show 5 digits at a time, so seeing 876 means Supersonic was close to the objective itself. Furthermore, at 56439, Supersonic was extremely pixelated, while 876 Supersonic was completely fine. Right after that, we see 67331. We can assume that 56439 and 67731 are not the same set of digits, since Supersonic was a lot more pixelated than he was in 56439. Then, soon after, Sonic's model just disappears completely. 805,800,704 is our first glance at an exact value, and that beats Method 4 by 27.3 times. It's here where we see the background itself start to pixelate. Then our final number, minus 2,147,483,648 shows up as the background gets more and more pixelated till it's just 2 colors and it stays there till the game crashes. I think the island teleports Sonic around. Think of it like a cube. When Sonic reaches the far end, it teleports him to the other, but somehow Supersonic was too fast. I'm not sure about this, but that's what I think is happening. While trying this again for footage, I didn't go as far out, only 867,134,976 meters. And I genuinely think that now, not only was I right about the cube thing, I think the islands are copied. No matter which direction I looked, it was like the same 867 millimeters. And when I turned left, it would be the same. The right, I'd turn the same. And I look up-ish, it would be black. The thing was still animated. It was actually quite a surreal experience. But I don't know. It may just be something completely different. I think that was a great success, knowing that somewhere out there, 800 million miles away, the clouds are still animating. It makes me feel somewhat satisfied. As far as my knowledge goes, I don't think anyone has ever done this before, so being the very first person to go out that far makes me feel like this all wasn't for nothing. Well, am I 100% happy? No, don't get me wrong, I still think I did great, but it would be weird of me not to include the fact that I expected to see a lot more than a glitchy Sonic and color changes. You know, I expected to see Uranus under Chronos, I expected to see another island really far out, like maybe if you went far out enough that Ares would somehow connect to Chronos, and I had a really good suspicion of this since, like, if you go really far out using Reach for the Stars, it would start to rain again. yeah, I would start to rain again. Maybe like the other islands were really far out or something, and then I'd be like a cool guy who like solved like the speedrun tactics. All you need to do is just go on Sephora Island and just fly. Then when you wait for like 10 minutes, you're like Aurea, like, and that'd be so cool, and everyone would remember my name. But no, that didn't happen. But I mean, I guess we now know the islands aren't secretly connected, and no, Sonic Hub, Oranos Island isn't underwater. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Oh my god, my mouth hurts. You have no idea how much I messed up the last like two chapters with me method 5 and method 4. I messed them up so many times, and I had to read them over and over and over again. But you know, it's okay. It's okay. At least I got it right. A good day or night wherever you are.